of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
As my dad read a book, Meg and I have come home to bathe children, a vacuum house, and dinner on Sunday. All the grandchildren love to read. Reading Robin and I are so grateful and thankful for the past Mom. Finally, most important to her, Helen was about life and she and my dad supported the church wholeheartedly for financially independent. I remember my dad saying it's very important. She belonged to Lazy, supported my dad in organizations. So she died, prayed to take roses, mother and children every night. I began handing her finances for her on a long list of charities. This one Helen brings Mom, Anna, and Foxy.
Good morning, and thank you for coming. I remember my mom polishing my dad's shoes early in the morning, a bit confused what he felt. Most mornings, when we left for work, she was doing everything she could to ensure he looked and done his best. If there was a glitch, like a button fell on his shirt or he couldn't find his car keys, some of this irritation would be directed towards her. But she never missed a step. After he would leave, I'd ask, wait, how do you not say something? Because I don't want to rip the rest of his buttons off his shirt. And she said, your father works hard all day long, dealing with the public. She just wanted him to look and feel his best before he left for work. No one, she said, should begin their day or leave her home angry or upset. That was it. She lifted him up to be his best son. She set him on his horse and paid forward for the rest of the day. She did the same for my brother. I was never studying at the dining room table, which was open to the kitchen. I was stressed out and anxious studying for fights. I would glance over to see her in the kitchen cooking. Mom. She did some ironing, it was the same scene. At one point, frustrated and tired, I remember thinking, man, I want her job. But it wasn't really her job that I wanted, it was how she did her job for acceptance, her all into being and positivity. She looked at life as a series of opportunities rather than burdens. It was a lesson that I pulled She was not my burden, she was my opportunity. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. There was a time it was really called for her when I was taking her grocery shopping. We spent 45 minutes hunting down many of the family products that she had got coupons for. It always amazed me that my mom got invited to every one of our house parties the kids dreamed up. She'd take first place in best in costume at Halloween. They'd start asking me in September, so what's Rams going to be for Halloween this year? At the prom themed birthday party, she came second as prom. One of the kids from her high school play online, step on its stand. They spent a Sunday afternoon reenacting it with her. No matter what shenanigans the kids dreamed up for her, participating next, she was game. These adult grandchildren really enjoyed her. So how did it happen that she, at her age, had such a following? I can't get that from them at my age. What will drive them if they were visiting home to leave the house at 9:30 at night, rosary beads in hand, to go say the rosary with friends? What was it about? When I asked them that question, God, it was the same answer for me. It was how she made you feel about yourself when you were with her. When she asked me how school went, and I said, oh, I had to do a workshop today, her response was, oh, I loved you. I didn't have the heart to set her straight. But it was like that for all of us. No matter what we did or what path we followed, it changed 100 times. She accepted it and she applauded our endeavors. She believed in you even when you didn't believe in yourself. You were so pretty, so smart, so handsome, so talented. You're so kind. The food was so delicious. The afternoon was so wonderful. I wouldn't want to be around. The realities of life are harsh, yet I am perfect in her eyes. That kind of love I will miss. But I will strive to be the victim in others' dreams, to be positive in my approach to life, seek opportunities rather than burdens, and to see the good in all people, because that is what my mom taught.
Thank you, Paul, for being here to honor my mom. And I thank my precious mother for all her grace and love that fills this church today. Mom, love you. You know, they say the angels rejoice when a soul returns home. But still my heart aches with her loss. Yes, she was 95. And told me many times she was ready for St. Peter to welcome her home. And I knew she'd pass through those early days because she was a beautiful example of someone who let Christian life. I never heard or saw my mother put herself first. She looked after her neighbors and friends with so much kindness, certain that her special soups could cure anything. And it seemed she was given the gift of healing, mending wounds, giving comfort. She watched over us and cared for us like an angel. When I was very sick many years ago, I believe it was her certainty and prayers, never leaving my bedside, that brought me back. Her love was profound, her faith unshakeable. People say she was a saint. So, Mom, it's 3 miracles, honey, and I'm counting. I moved in 4 years ago to care for my mother after her heart attack. and it was by far the most meaningful times of my life. Her wants were simple, and her favorite time of day was keeping an ongoing date with her buddy, which she liked to call Mother Angelica, to say the rosary. And then, before sleep, after putting her hair in curls or rollers, God knows how she could sleep on those, she would now kneel beside her bed and say her favorite evening prayers, the long versions. My heart would melt seeing her do that. She said it was the least she could do to thank God for all her blessings. We got very close, Mom and I. She trustingly put her life in my hands. And as her body deteriorated, she never complained, but like the trooper she was, did her little walks and exercises till her last day. And on that day, after finishing a bowl of Doreen's chicken soup, she passed peacefully in my arms as I said her favorite prayer. So if you will join me, I would like to say one last Hail Mary in her honor. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Thank you, Holy Mary. My mom is forever in our hearts.
Let us pray. O God, Almighty Father, our faith professes that your Son died and rose again. Mercifully grant that through this mystery, your servant Helen, who has fallen asleep in Christ, may rejoice to rise again through him, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Please be seated for our first reading.
Reading from the Book of Wisdom, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. The souls of the just are in the hand of God, and no torment shall touch them. They seem through the foolish to be dead, and their passing away is brought to them in punishment. And their going forth from us in destruction. But they are at peace, for before men he may be punished. Yet is their hope full of immortality. Chastised a little, they be greatly blessed, as God tried them to become worthy of himself. As gold and furnace he proved them, and as sacrificial offerings he took them to himself. Those who trust in him shall understand truth, and the faithful shall abide with him in love. His grace and mercy are with his holy ones, and his care is with his love. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Reading from the first letter of John, chapter 3, verses 1 through 2. See what love the Father has bestowed on us, that we may be called the children of God. Yet so we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know him. Beloved, we are God's children now. What we shall be has not yet been revealed. We do know that when it is revealed, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is.
The Lord be with you. Reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When he saw the crowds, Jesus went on the mountain, and after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely on account because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. My brothers and sisters, the gospel of the Lord. Please be seated. Yes, when I was in Nigeria, there's this priest, whenever he was asked to come and say something, he would always say that, oh, the person that spoke before has said what I wanted to say. So, all of you who read today about your mom, you have said what I wanted to say. I don't know what else I need to add. Only that the church always requires us to give a homily at Mass. Otherwise, you would have said that you have given the homily yourself. And also, I think you mentioned, Diane, about miracle, 3 miracles. I think the first one was me asking you to speak at the beginning of the Mass, because I don't do it. And I could have spoken about somebody else, but thank God that I allowed you to give an idea who your mother recipes of us, whichever way. It's hard for us to talk about your mother in past tense. So you gave me an idea of to understand your mom, and also how to, or what to speak. But suffice it to mention that instead of taking much time to overflow the obvious, one thing I want us to take out of in all the readings, the first reading, second reading, and the gospel reading, is summed up in what you mentioned about Imam. The first reading telling us the source of the just that will be in the hand of God. The source of the just and the source of the virtuous, whichever translation you are reading, is not talking about the source of everyone who dies, rather the source of the just, the source of the virtuous. And if you get various dictionaries to try to understand the meaning or definition of what it means to be a just and virtuous person, you can easily see it from everything you read to the Bible. And also, St. Paul tells us, St. John tells us in the second reading, see what God has for us. And also, if you are looking at the Bible, you can see that exemplify that quality life which John is talking about, and which Jesus tells us today in the gospel reading that blessed are the poor in spirit, people who are down to earth, people who are willing to take anything, and blessed are they who comfort others, who mourn with others, who are always there to sympathize with people, to listen to their stories, to be with them and their suffering. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. There are many people in this world today who hunger and thirst for violence, who hunger and thirst for wickedness, who hunger and thirst, who sleep in bed and thinking about evil, to commit the worst sin ever. But talking about blessed those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, God will be their satisfaction. Blessed they will show mercy. Blessed the clean of heart. The clean of heart will always go to bed and sleep up. Instead of lying in bed thinking about the cares and the worries and the aches and pains and the troubles in this world, rather, they don't have anything to worry about. They just go say their rosary, read on the sleep, wake up, thank God for the night well rested. And you know, just as you mentioned that your mom always was married to her rosary, if you pray every day, if you walk with your rosary, the only worry that you may have in life is to worry about the well-being of other people, worry about people around you, their well-being. All the anxieties, all the depression that people have to suffer, they are not in your dictionary. You don't understand what depression or anxiety, the clinical sense of it is. But rather, you are thinking about how to touch people's lives, how to make the person around you feel more human and realize that he or she is also a child of God. That's why we are here today. And you also mentioned about how devoted the mom was to her church and to her Lord God. How she gave to her church and to God. So your mom said something to me today for Mass. You wonder what was that? Yes, she has a message for you, children, which I'm going to give to you. She said, do not allow that light of faith die in your hands. Do not allow that light to die under your watch. And she is telling you to continue from where she stopped. So, are you willing to do that? Please do not let her. Please rise. God God, the Almighty Father, raised Christ, his Son, from the dead, with confidence we ask him to save all his people, living and dead. Our responsibility will be our prayer. For heaven, who in baptism was given the pledge of eternal life, that she may now be admitted to the company of the saints, we pray to the Lord. For our sister who gave the body of Christ the bread of life, that she may be raised up on the last day, we pray to the Lord. For our deceased relatives and friends, and for all who have helped us, that they may have the reward of their goodness, we pray to the Lord. For those who have fallen asleep in the hope of rising again, especially Tom, that they may see God face to face, we pray to the Lord. For the family and friends of our beloved Helen, that they may be consoled in their grief at the Lord, who wept at the death of his friend Lazarus, we pray to the Lord. For all of us who are gathered here to worship in faith, that we may be gathered together again in God's kingdom, we pray to the Lord. Lord, our shelter and our strength, you listen in love to the cry of your people. Hear the prayers we offer for our departed brothers and sisters. Cleanse them of their sins and grant them the fullness of redemption. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Please be seated. Pray, brethren, that my sacrifice and yours may be acceptable to God, the Almighty Father. As we humbly present to you these sacrificial offerings, Lord, for the salvation of your servant Helen, we beseech your mercy that she who did not doubt your Son to be a loving Savior may find in him a merciful judge, who live and reign forever and ever. The Lord be with you. Lift up your hearts. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. It is fully right and just, our duty and our salvation, always and everywhere to give you thanks, Lord, Holy Father, Almighty and eternal God, through Christ our Lord. For he is the salvation of the world, the life of the human race, the resurrection of the dead. Through him the host of angels adores your majesty and rejoices in your presence forever. May our voices quickly join with theirs in one chorus of exultant praise as we acclaim. Who are indeed holy ones, the fount of all holiness, make holy day for these gifts we pray, by sending out your Spirit upon them and the people, so that they may become for us the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. At the time he was betrayed and entered willingly into his passion, he took bread and giving thanks, broke it, and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which is given up." In a similar way, when supper was ended, he took the chalice, and once more giving thanks, he gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take this, all of you, and drink from it. For this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in memory of me." Let us proclaim the mystery of faith. Therefore, as we celebrate the memorial of his death and resurrection, we offer you, Lord, the bread of life and the chalice of salvation, giving thanks that you have fed us worthy to be in your presence and minister to you. Humbly we pray that partaking of the body and blood of Christ, we may be gathered into one by the Holy Spirit. Remember, Lord, your church spread throughout the world and bring out to the fullness of charity. Together with Francis, our Pope, and Leonard, our Bishop, and our clergy. Remember, Helen, your servant, whom you have called from this world to yourself. Grant that she who was united with his Son and death like his, may also be one with him in his resurrection. Remember also our brothers and sisters, especially Tom, who have fallen asleep in the hope of the resurrection. Lord, by mercy, welcome them to the light of your face. Listen us all, we pray, that with the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God, with Blessed Joseph, our beloved spouse, with the blessed apostles, Saint Helene, and all the saints who have pleased you throughout the ages, we may merit before us eternal life, and may praise and glorify you, the Son, Jesus Christ. Through him everything ended. O God, Almighty Father, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, all glory and honor is yours forever and ever. Let us praise the Father for the words our Savior gave us. Our Father,
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
deliver us, Lord, we pray, from every evil. Graciously grant peace in our days, that by the help of your mercy, we may be always free from sin and safe from all disgrace, as we await the blessed hope, the coming of our Savior, Jesus Christ.
The kingdom, power, and glory are yours, now and forever.
Lord Jesus Christ, you said to your apostles, peace I give you, my peace I give you. Not on our sins, but on the faith of your church, and graciously grant peace and unity, in accordance with your will, live and reign forever and ever. The peace of the Lord be with you always.
With your spirit,
Let us all preach at that sign. Behold, the Lamb of God. Behold him who takes away the sins of the world. Blessed are those called to the supper of the Lamb. Lord, worthy are you.
only say, Lord, my soul.
Please, for our reception of Holy Communion, I would like the people sitting on my left to come first, and then after which those on my right will come. Let us pray. Lord God, whose Son led us in the sacrament of his body, food for our journey, mercifully grant that, strengthened by it, our sister Helen may come to the eternal temple of Christ, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Trusting in God, we have prayed together for Helen, and now we come to the last farewell. There is sadness in parting, but we take comfort in the hope that one day we shall see Helen again and enjoy her friendship. Although this congregation will disperse in sorrow, the mercy of God will gather us together again in the joy of His kingdom. Therefore, let us console one another in the faith of Jesus Christ. To you, O Lord, we commend the soul of Helene, your servant. In the sight of this world, she is now dead. In your sight, may she live forever. Forgive whatever sins she committed through human weakness, and in your goodness, grant her everlasting peace. We ask this through Christ our Lord. In peace, let us take our sister to a place of rest.
amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you.